Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, where every coin has a story and even the most worn pieces can reveal hidden value. In this video, we're focusing on 5 important wheat pennies, all examined in dirty, circulated condition. These coins represent different stages of American history, from World War II-era production to the final years of the wheat cent series before it was replaced in 1959. You'll discover how these pennies were made, what makes them collectible even in worn condition, and why collectors still pay attention to them despite their age and appearance. We'll also explore key features, mint marks, historical context, and what factors can still influence their value today, even when they are far from perfect. So before you overlook that old, dirty penny sitting in your collection, stay tuned, because what may look ordinary could still hold a piece of history worth noticing. Let's begin. 1953 D-Wheat Penny Coin Dirty Condition. The 1953 D-Wheat Penny represents the later era of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, struck at a time when the United States economy was stable and coin production was focused on meeting everyday circulation demands rather than wartime pressures. By the early 1950s, wheat pennies were still widely used in commerce, passing through millions of hands daily, which is why many surviving examples today are found in heavily circulated and dirty condition. Despite its commonality, the 1953 D-penny remains an important collectible due to its place near the end of the wheat reverse design era, which would conclude in 1958. The D mint mark on the 1953 D-Wheat penny indicates it was produced at the Denver Mint. Coins from Denver during this period were struck in large quantities to supply the western and central United States. The mint mark is located on the reverse side, beneath the year on earlier coins, but for wheat pennies it appears on the obverse below the date. In dirty condition, this mint mark may be partially filled with dirt or wear, but it is still an essential feature for identifying the coin's origin. The design of the 1953 D-Wheat penny follows the classic Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait is prominently displayed. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1953 to the right with the D mint mark below it. On the reverse, the familiar wheat ears frame the denomination 1 cent, with United States of America and E pluribus unum completing the design. This reverse design, used from 1909 to 1958, remains one of the most iconic in U.S. coin history. In dirty condition, the 1953 D-Wheat penny often shows significant surface wear, with dark brown or black toning caused by oxidation, environmental exposure, and long-term circulation. Dirt and grime can accumulate in recessed areas such as Lincoln's hair, facial features, and the wheat stalk lines. While this reduces visual appeal, it does not necessarily diminish collector interest, especially for those who value original, uncleaned coins. Many collectors prefer coins in natural circulated condition rather than cleaned or artificially altered examples. The mintage of the 1953 D-Wheat penny was substantial, with hundreds of millions of coins produced at the Denver Mint. This high mintage means the coin is relatively common in circulated grades, including dirty examples. As a result, most worn 1953 D-pennies typically have modest market value, often close to face value. However, coins in better-than-average circulated condition or those with attractive natural toning can carry slight premiums. Error coins from the 1953 D-series add an extra layer of interest for collectors. Known errors may include repunched mint marks, RPMs, die cracks, die chips, and off-center strikes. In some cases, these errors remain visible even on dirty coins, especially when they involve structural anomalies rather than surface details. Collectors specializing in mint errors often examine coins closely under magnification to identify such varieties. Collector interest in the 1953 D-Wheat penny remains steady, particularly among wheat cent enthusiasts and those building complete date and mint sets. While it is not considered rare in general circulation, its role as part of the final decade of wheat pennies gives it historical significance. Many collectors seek examples from each mint to complete a full set of Lincoln wheat cents, making the 1953 D an essential component. In dirty condition, the 1953 D wheat penny may not stand out visually, but it still holds value as a collectible piece of American coinage. Its widespread availability makes it accessible for beginners, while its potential for minor varieties and historical relevance keeps it interesting for advanced collectors. Even heavily worn examples contribute to the broader story of mid-20th century U.S. currency and everyday commerce. 1956 D wheat penny coin dirty condition. The 1956 D wheat penny is another example from the final years of the Lincoln wheat cent series, struck just 2 years before the design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. By 1956, wheat pennies were still widely circulated across the United States, and millions of these coins were used in everyday transactions. As a result, many surviving specimens today are found in dirty, heavily circulated condition, reflecting decades of use. The D Mint mark identifies this coin as being produced at the Denver Mint, which was responsible for striking a significant portion of U.S. coinage during the mid-20th century. The mint mark appears on the obverse side below the date. In dirty condition, the mint mark may be partially obscured by grime or wear, but it remains a key identifier for collectors distinguishing between mint origins. The design of the 1956 D wheat penny remains consistent with the classic Lincoln cent design introduced in 1909. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1956 to the right with the D Mint mark below. The reverse showcases 2 wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent, along with United States of America and the motto E Pluribus Unum. This wheat reverse design is highly recognizable and remains a favorite among collectors. In dirty condition, the 1956 D wheat penny often displays heavy wear, with flattened details and darkened surfaces due to oxidation and environmental exposure. Dirt and residue can settle into the coin's recessed areas, particularly around Lincoln's facial features, hair, and the wheat stalk lines on the reverse. The original mint luster is typically absent, replaced by a dull, matte appearance that reflects years of circulation. Despite its worn condition, the 1956 D wheat penny is considered a common coin due to its large mintage. Millions were produced, making it readily available in circulated grades. As a result, most dirty examples have low market value, often near face value or slightly above depending on condition and eye appeal. However, coins that retain clearer details or exhibit attractive natural toning may appeal to collectors seeking original circulated pieces. Error varieties associated with the 1956 D wheat penny can enhance collector interest. These may include repunched mint marks, die cracks, die clashes, and minor striking anomalies. While not extremely rare, such errors are collectible when identified clearly. Even in dirty condition, some errors remain visible because they affect the coin's structure rather than just its surface appearance. Collector interest in the 1956 D wheat penny is primarily driven by its role in completing wheat cent collections and its position near the end of the series. As one of the later wheat pennies, it represents the final years before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse design. Many collectors include it in date runs or mint mark sets, making it a necessary piece for comprehensive collections. In dirty condition, the 1956 D wheat penny may appear unremarkable at first glance, but it still carries historical and numismatic significance. It represents mid-1950s American coinage, a period of economic growth and widespread coin circulation. For collectors, even a worn example provides a tangible connection to everyday life during that era. Overall, both the 1953 D and 1956 D wheat pennies in dirty condition highlight the enduring appeal of circulated coins. While they may not exhibit pristine surfaces, their history, design, and availability make them valuable components of wheat cent collections. Their worn appearance tells a story of long-term use, while their continued presence in collections ensures that they remain relevant in the world of numismatics. 1958 Wheat Penny Coin Dirty Condition. The 1958 wheat penny holds a very special place in American numismatic history because it represents the final year of the Lincoln wheat cent design. After nearly 5 decades of continuous production since 1909, the the wheat reverse would be replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design. This makes the 1958 penny not only a commonly circulated coin, but also a symbolic ending point for one of the most iconic coin series in the United States. Even in dirty and heavily circulated condition, the 1958 wheat penny is widely recognized and collected due to its historical significance. By 1958, the United States was experiencing post-war economic growth, and pennies were an essential part of daily commerce. Millions of these coins were produced and circulated extensively across the country. Because of this heavy circulation, many surviving examples today are found in worn, dirty condition, often showing significant surface wear, dark toning, and loss of fine details. Despite this, the coin remains an important collectible for both beginners and experienced numismatists. The design of the 1958 wheat penny follows the classic Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait is featured prominently. Above his head is the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" appears to the left. The date, 1958, is positioned to the right, and if the coin has a mint mark, it will appear below the date. Coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver minted coins carry a D. On the reverse, the wheat penny design displays two stylized wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent. Surrounding the central denomination are the inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. This reverse design, used from 1909 through 1958, is what gives the coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny. The design is widely admired for its simplicity and historical charm. In dirty condition, a 1958 wheat penny typically shows heavy wear due to years of circulation. The coin may appear dark brown, blackened, or uneven in tone due to oxidation and environmental exposure. Dirt and debris often accumulate in recessed areas such as Lincoln's hair, facial features, and the wheat stalk lines on the reverse. Over time, these elements can obscure finer details, making the coin appear less defined. However, even in such condition, the primary design elements remain identifiable, allowing collectors to still appreciate the coin's origin and authenticity. The mintage of the 1958 wheat penny was extremely high, as it was one of the most produced pennies of its time. Both the Philadelphia and Denver mints struck large quantities to meet the demands of circulation. As a result, the coin is considered common in circulated grades, including dirty and worn examples. Because of this abundance, most 1958 wheat pennies in heavily circulated condition have modest market value, typically close to face value or slightly above. However, certain factors can influence the value of a 1958 wheat penny even in dirty condition. Coins that retain stronger details, sharper lettering, or more appealing natural toning may attract slightly higher premiums. Additionally, mint mark variations can play a role, with Denver minted coins, 1958 D, sometimes being more desirable in specific collecting contexts, particularly when assembling complete date and mint sets. Error coins from 1958 can significantly increase collector interest. Some known varieties include double die obverse, repunched mint marks, die cracks, and off-center strikes. Although many of these errors are subtle, they can sometimes be identified even on worn coins if the underlying design anomaly is strong enough. Collectors who specialize in error coins often examine 1958 pennies closely, because late-series coins can still exhibit interesting minting variations. One of the most famous aspects of the 1958 wheat penny is its status as the final wheat cent issued by the U.S. Mint. This alone makes it a must-have for wheat penny collections. Many collectors seek to complete a full set of wheat cents from 1909 through 1958, and the final year coin serves as a natural conclusion to that series. Because of this, demand for the 1958 wheat penny remains consistently strong, even though the coin itself is not rare in terms of mintage. In dirty condition, the 1958 wheat penny may not display the visual appeal of a mint state coin, but it still carries historical and collectible importance. Its worn surfaces tell a story of long-term circulation during the 1950s, a time when pennies were actively used in everyday transactions across the United States. Each mark, scratch, and layer of toning reflects its journey through time. Collectors often appreciate dirty wheat pennies for their originality. Unlike cleaned coins, which can lose natural surfaces and value, dirty and circulated coins preserve their authentic appearance. This authenticity is especially valued among collectors who prefer coins that have not been altered or artificially enhanced. In conclusion, the 1958 wheat penny in dirty condition represents more than just a common circulated coin. It is the final chapter of a historic coin series, a widely collected piece with strong sentimental and numismatic value, and a tangible link to mid-20th century American commerce. Even in worn and heavily circulated form, it remains an essential coin for collectors and a meaningful artifact in the broader story of U.S. coinage. 1942 wheat penny coin dirty condition. The 1942 wheat penny represents a fascinating moment in American numismatic history. Struck during World War II, this coin was produced at a time when the United States was heavily focused on supporting the war effort. Although the famous steel cents were introduced in 1943 due to copper shortages, the 1942 penny was still minted in the traditional bronze composition consisting primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. Because of its timing, the 1942 wheat penny is often associated with the transition period before the U.S. Mint shifted materials for wartime needs. This makes it historically significant, even though it is not considered rare in general circulation. However, in dirty or heavily circulated condition, it tells a story of extensive use over decades, often passing through countless hands, wallets, and transactions. The design of the 1942 wheat penny follows the classic Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, you will find a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most recognizable figures in American history. Above Lincoln's head, the word "In God We Trust" is inscribed. To the left, the word "Liberty" appears, and the date, 1942, is positioned to the right. If the coin has a mint mark, it will be located below the date, indicating whether it was minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. On the reverse side, the wheat penny features two wheat ears surrounding the denomination, 1 cent, and the phrase, United States of America. Above the denomination is the motto, E Pluribus Unum. This wheat reverse design is what gives the coin its nickname and distinguishes it from later Lincoln Memorial cents. In dirty condition, the details of the 1942 wheat penny may appear muted. The original luster is typically gone, replaced by a darker tone caused by oxidation, environmental exposure, and years of handling. Dirt, grime, and toning can accumulate in recessed areas of the design, especially around Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks. While this may reduce visual appeal, it does not necessarily eliminate collector interest. In fact, many collectors appreciate original, uncleaned surfaces, even if the coin appears heavily worn. The mintage of the 1942 wheat penny was quite large, as millions of these coins were produced across all three mints. This high mintage means that the coin is relatively common in circulated condition. However, certain variations, such as high-grade specimens or those with errors, can significantly increase value. In dirty condition, most examples are typically worth modest amounts, often ranging from face value to a few dollars depending on where level and mint mark. Coins with better detail retention or from less common mint marks may command slightly higher premiums. Error coins from 1942 can also attract collector attention. These may include repunched mint marks, die cracks, off-center strikes, or double die varieties. While not extremely rare for this year, such errors can increase desirability, especially if they are visible despite the coin's dirty and worn state. Collectors who specialize in error coins often look beyond surface condition and focus on structural anomalies in the strike. Collector interest in the 1942 wheat penny remains steady due to its historical context and accessibility. It is often included in beginner collections as well as advanced wheat cent sets. Even in dirty condition, it serves as an important representative of early 1940s coinage and wartime-era production before composition changes occurred in 1943. For many collectors, owning a 1942 penny in any condition is a way to connect with a pivotal period in U.S. history. Overall, while a dirty 1942 wheat penny may not appear visually impressive at first glance, its historical relevance, classic design, and potential for minor varieties make it a meaningful piece in any collection. Its widespread availability ensures that collectors can acquire one easily, but finding examples with strong detail or unique characteristics can still be a rewarding experience. 1944 Wheat Penny Coin Dirty Condition. The 1944 Wheat Penny marks another important chapter in the Lincoln Cent series, produced during the final years of World War II. By 1944, the U.S. Mint had resumed using the standard bronze composition for pennies after the temporary switch to steel cents in 1943. This return to copper-based coins was made possible by reclaiming metal supplies, including recycled shell casings and other wartime materials. As a result, the 1944 wheat penny is historically tied to the post-steel cent era and represents a normalization of coin production following wartime adjustments. Despite being a common coin in circulated grades, its connection to the war period and its massive production numbers make it a staple in wheat cent collections. The design of the 1944 wheat penny remains identical to other Lincoln wheat cents. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1944, to the right. Mint marks, if present, appear below the date and indicate whether the coin was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The reverse displays the familiar wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent, along with United States of America and E pluribus unum. This design, used from 1909 until 1958, is iconic among U.S. coin collectors and is widely recognized as one of the most classic reverse designs in American coinage. In dirty condition, a 1944 wheat penny often exhibits significant surface wear, dark toning, and accumulated debris in recessed areas of the design. The coin may appear brown, blackened, or uneven in color due to oxidation and long-term circulation. The details of Lincoln's face, hair, and inscriptions may be softened, but major elements typically remain identifiable. Despite its worn appearance, the 1944 wheat penny is highly collectible due to its large mintage and historical importance. Millions were produced across all mints, making it one of the more common wheat cents available today. In dirty, circulated condition, its value is usually close to face value or slightly above, depending on factors such as mint mark, wear level, and eye appeal. However, certain variations within the 1944 series can significantly increase value. One of the most famous is the 1944 steel penny error, which occurred when leftover steel planchets from 1943 were mistakenly struck with 1944 dies. These error coins are extremely rare and highly valuable. While most 1944 wheat pennies are bronze, any unusual magnetic properties or silver-like appearance could indicate a rare error that requires further authentication. Other collectible aspects include repunched mint marks, die breaks, and minor striking anomalies. Even in dirty condition, these features can sometimes be detected by careful inspection. Collectors often examine coins under magnification to identify such varieties, as they can exist beneath surface wear and toning. Collector interest in the 1944 wheat penny remains strong due to its accessibility and historical context. It is commonly included in wheat penny collections, typesets, and World War II-era coin assemblages. Beginners often encounter this coin frequently, while advanced collectors may seek higher-grade examples or rare error varieties. A dirty 1944 wheat penny may not stand out visually, but it still represents an important piece of numismatic history. Its widespread circulation, wartime connection, and potential for rare anomalies make it more than just a common coin. For collectors, it serves as both a historical artifact and a potential gateway to discovering more valuable varieties hidden within seemingly ordinary pennies.